Hello, my name is Bobby Vaught. I'm a longtime Republican. I tried to keep it this real short if I can. How I became Republican when the early 1980s. I was in the Marine Corps, and on the base they had a library, and I would go, and that's when I started reading George Gilder and Thomas Sowell, Milton Friedman, and others. And that's kind of how I became a Republican, even though it's not that Republicans are always all about market economics. They're not. But I, just like you, anybody watching this video, we all kind of have to choose amongst our options on election day. That's just the way it is. So that's kind of how that happened. Ronald Reagan always be, in my mind, the best president, at least of my lifetime. Unless somebody else comes along better, but I really don't see that happening anytime in the near future. In any event, I was going to respond to this video, about 10 minutes, 4 seconds long. F blank blank K, yeah, you got it, Ukraine, Candace Owens explains why America should not support Ukraine. Well, there's no way I could respond to the whole video, so I'm just going to make a couple little points here. At roughly about 1:45, Candace says, quote, "After my house is in perfect order, then you say to me, hey baby, please help. Well, that's just common sense. But if my house is in chaos," okay, you see where she's going with that. She's making, this is her analogy regarding a person's house, or as in the analogy versus a nation. Nation's house is not in perfect order. Okay, I'm just kind of trying to put that in context a little bit. Allow me to help with some common sense. Our house as a nation, her analogy, will never be in perfect order. This illustrates precisely my issue with Candace Owens. This is not a personal thing, okay? I want to emphasize that very heavily. It's my issue with her in terms of how she reasons things. Nothing personal. But in any event, our house as a nation will never be in perfect order. And that's kind of illustrating my issue with Candace. I've been a Republican my entire life for reasons explained a minute ago. Every argument she makes comes down to these very conveniently constructed binary arguments. A nation is either corrupt or not. Fringe groups or not. Perfect order or not. We as a nation will never come close to being in perfect order. Not even close. The preamble of the Declaration of Independence is a mission statement. That's exactly what it is. A compass point. It's very easy to have a perfectly good organization, church, nation, business, until you put people in it. Then it's not perfect anymore, and never will be. We have a compass. We work, we strive, we achieve, we screw up, we repeat process, strive to keep getting better. Understanding that it makes sense, it makes good sense to strive for that perfect world, with the understanding that we will never really get there. You're not going to find your earthly Garden of Eden, Candace. Not as a person, not as a nation. When you find a nation like that, by all means, let us know, but you won't find it. Ukraine has corruption. Yeah, they know that. Fringe groups, they know that. We just couldn't possibly think of any other place where that exists, could we? But in any event, let me explain something else about And this is coming from someone who has been there to Ukraine 3 times, okay? A very large majority of the very beautiful people in Ukraine, they were looking west, not east. They were looking for a more market economy, not less. And yes, they were looking for better people in their government. They have, how to explain, they have, in the meantime, they have failures. They work, they strive, they achieve, they fail again, repeat process. That's the real world, Candace Owens. It always will be. I'm a 62-year-old man that's been discussing issues and observing people and analyzing this world for a very long time. And that's what I see. That's the real world we live in. In the meantime, as conservative Nick Lowry put it, we won the Cold War. We should probably stop acting like we lost it. As an American speaking on behalf of the beautiful people of Ukraine, I'm sure they would love to apologize to Candace Owens for not living up to her standards, especially in terms of their minority fringe groups and corruption in their government. See, people in Ukraine, they know that we have corruption in our government. They know about Democrat corruption, Biden, and the Democrats, they think Republicans have corruption. And yes, there are Republicans that do. Okay? The people in Ukraine, they don't make that divide. Why would they? They're Ukrainian. They just know that America has corruption. And then they hear somebody say, well, y'all have corruption. And they go, yeah, we know that. They have corruption in their government in Ukraine. So what else is new? We could consider having a little more vision than just what is immediately in front of us or what we see. I say that because any St. Bernard can look at a bowl of dog food and believe it's there. Corruption, fringe groups. Candace, Ukrainians people, they know that. They work, they strive, they achieve, they screw up, repeat process, go figure. On the other hand, if we had a little more vision than a St. Bernard, we could consider supporting Ukraine for where their people were going. I know these people, I've been there. Before the war, they were looking west, not east. They were looking for a more market economy, not less, and yes, a better life, but never perfect. And stop acting like we lost the Cold War when we didn't. After 9/11, we, the United States, asked for other nations' help, didn't we? We did. See, caring about your neighbor, Candace, caring about your neighbor is caring about your family, because someday your family may need that neighbor. And when you ask for that help, that neighbor is not going to have their house in perfect order either. The dishes are going to be dirty, the car needs a oil change, the dog's got diarrhea. And likewise, when the United States had to ask other nations for their help, none of those nations had their house in perfect order. 9/11, we asked for other nations' help. You see, isolationist views are very easy to have until we are the ones who get punched in the face. So let's go back to this quote here. After my house is in perfect, Candace, after my house is in perfect order, then you say to me, hey, baby, please help. Well, that's just common sense. But if my house is in chaos, and you see where I'm going, okay? Perfect order. I don't know what Candace Owens' house looks like, nor care, nor none of my business, but in any event, good luck finding your nation that has already reached its earthly Garden of Eden, Candace. When you find it, let us know. I'm 62 years old, Republican my whole life, discussing issues. I've also been observing people for a very long time. I'm going to say this with every bit of my soul and every bit of my heart and with every bit of feeling that I can, and not trying to make it a personal attack. I'm just, how do you put this? I'm just trying to fine-tune somebody just a little bit, okay? Candace Owens, you have a lot going for you. You do. I've been impressed with you numerous times. There's been times when I've been deeply, very impressed with you. You got a lot going for you. And from the bottom of my heart, without this being a personal attack, it's just meant with some trying to help a little bit, okay? You have a lot going for you. You do. And you still have a lot to learn. You just do.